This is The Wire for 1500 Zulu, February 26, 2026. Precision is routine. Information cutoff is 1400. Bottom line up front. Possible chemical weapons facility discovered at private residence in California. Talks in Geneva continue as war inches closer in Middle East. Investigation continues into Cuban boat incident. Beginning with international events, in the Middle East, this morning the Ford Carrier Strike Group departed Port Suda Bay, bound for operational patrols in the Eastern Med. The drawdown of forces at Al Udeid continues as well, with only a handful of aircraft remaining at this installation. In Geneva, diplomatic negotiations between the United States and Iranian representatives have continued, with reports not really confirming how the talks are going just yet. Analysts comment. In addition to American aircraft leaving their transponders on for the majority of their flights, China has dutifully been using their own satellite imagery networks to show the world where American forces are being deployed to. This imagery indicates that forces continue staging at bases throughout the region, including F-16s being forward deployed to Diego Garcia. On the home front, in California, a possible chemical weapons production facility has been located at a private residence in Irvine. Police responded to a call from a concerned landlord who had located suspicious items inside a residence just off Irvine Boulevard. Local police responded to the residence, and after a few hours, the FBI was on scene investigating what appeared to be a nerve agent that was discovered at the site. Analysts comment. This incident initially took place some time ago, however none of the inhabitants of this extremely high-income gated community reported the men in white suits investigating a potential weapons lab in their neighborhood until prompted by journalists who were first alerted to the scene by the Irvine Police Department's post on the matter last night. Since this neighborhood has controlled access, the local news crew had to fly a helicopter over the scene, which revealed the Seaburn teams that are still on the scene processing evidence. Geolocation of this static image via the solar panels on the roof and the landscaping arrangement confirms the address as being at 77 Cartwheel Street. Orange County property records indicate that this residence is owned by Yuting Huang and Alan Lee. A cursory search of business affiliations in California confirms that both individuals are the CFO and CEO, respectively, of Genitex Incorporated, a major biotechnology business which allegedly provides reagents for medical testing. Overall, details are very sketchy at the moment, however local media stations have interviewed some of the neighbors who have been willing to talk. According to these reports, various teams of federal agents have been observed on site, to include military service members wearing insignia of a weapons of mass destruction civil support team. Considering the link to Genitex, so far this incident is nearly identical to other Chinese-linked biolabs such as the facilities in Reedley, California and Las Vegas, Nevada. Both of these facilities involved super sketchy businesses which were supposed to be making test kits or reagents for medical testing. However, in reality this was merely a front to conceal the manufacture of biological weapons. Regarding the site in Irvine, there is no link readily available to the other sites just yet, beyond the circumstances of the operations being nearly identical. Of note, Genitex has links to Taiwan, not China. However, more information is needed to determine exactly what these links are and exactly which individuals were operating the site. More investigation will be needed to discern what was really taking place at this facility, but as of right now, it would be prudent to categorize this as a potential nerve agent production facility just in case. Analyst comments for this wire. Regarding yesterday's Cuban escapade, the situation remains just as clear as before, which is to say, not much. Cuban forces are attempting to frame the incident as a Bay of Pigs Part 2 and have stated that the 10 people on board the vessel were attempting to invade their country. The nationalities of the people on board the vessel are equally a mystery. Some reports state that they were Americans, while other reports state that they were Cubans who had originally fled the nation only to return later on. Cuban authorities have identified most of the people they have detained, and all of the names are of Cuban origin. However, discerning exact nationality is difficult. For context, Cubans who escaped the nation have been known to steal boats in Miami and pilot these boats back to Cuba, either to help others escape or to run drugs back and forth. Coyotes also prefer to extort Cubans who pay to smuggle themselves into the United States in a similar manner as was common at the southern U.S. border. On the other hand, Cuban border guards are also known to shoot Cubans who attempt to flee the island by boat without permission, so right now it's a wash as to what this was all about. The boat itself being registered in Florida is probably a clue, as it was reported stolen recently. The United States has not claimed the 4 KIA as being American yet, and very few statements have been made by American officials as the investigation continues, and all of the evidence is in Cuba. This concludes The Wire for 1500 Zulu, February 26, 2026.